JP, wow.
How's it going, Dragons? This is the legendary Dragon Duelist, and today I'm finally bringing you guys the third place Cyber Dragon deck profile. Now, if you watched my Returning to Locals video, I brought this deck with me there, and with this deck, I got third place. Alright, so starting off, I have 3 Cyber Dragons, since I am running the Machine Dupe variant. And I just wanted to make this clear. I know that the new support is out, but since this was before the new support, I'm not going to be using the new support, and I'm going to record a deck profile with that in the future, probably within the next week after you're seeing this. So stay tuned for that, but I'm here to explain this deck profile right now. So I slapped on these 3 guys, 3 Cyber Dragons, because Machine Duplication, you could special summon them out if you're going second and your opponent has a monster, use it to contact fuse, and it's pretty good. And next I have triple Cyber Dragon Core. This is probably the best Cyber Dragon monster of the deck, where you normal summon it and you search a Cyber Spell or Trap card. It can also special summon a Cyber Dragon from the deck if it's in your graveyard and only your opponent controls a monster. And next we have 3 Cyber Dragon Hertz with 1 super rare that I still need to get upgraded into an Ultra though. Don't worry, I will do that really soon. But this is really good for your Galaxy Soldier plays and for recovering core in the graveyard if you're using Rampage Dragon. That's the majority of what I have to say about that. And then I have double Naxxter. It can be slightly awkward to open sometimes, depending on the rest of your hand. And it's mainly to special summon from the deck with when you have core in the graveyard, recovery plays. You could bring back a Nova or a Chimeritic Rampage Dragon. Keep on extending from there, and it helps you in the grind game. Next I have 2 copies of Galaxy Soldiers for the, the combo with Hertz mainly. And this is just used to go into Infinity, Nova, then slap on Infinity. And you only need 2, in my opinion, because then if you have an extra spot, you can put in some better cards. And you have Repair Plan and Core, so you could search this anytime you need it. So I just don't feel like 3 Galaxy Soldiers is a good option. Next, I have 1 Jizukiru. This is the searchable kaiju of the deck. Since it's a light machine monster, we could search it with Repair Plant. And we could also use it to contact fuse into Chimeritic Fortress Dragon when you see that in the extra deck. So that just makes this a really good kaiju. Next I have Dino Wrestler Pankratops. I decided to main deck this since I am blinding second. It is a really great card to have when going second. You could special summon it, attack over a monster, and then attribute it to pop a card. I have this in practically all of my deck profiles, so I'm not going to explain it as much as I do in other videos. Next I have 3 Ash Blossom. It's a really good hand trap. I know that Crossout Designator is out right now. It wasn't at the time that I attended the locals. Ash Blossom is still a great card. And by the way, in regards to Crossout Designator, I'm not too sure if I would play that in this deck. If you have room, go ahead, but I would have to experiment with it more to give you guys an opinion on that. Next I have just the Dragoon package. Dragoon package, I was considering cutting it at one point, and especially, I know there's a lot of people who, this might be a little bit controversial, but those people who say, oh, you don't need Dragoon and Cyber Dragons, only bad players play Dragoon. There's a lot of those people. Well, Dragoon is an excellent card. Dragoon single-handedly won me so many games. It is really good, and it gives you going first options especially, because without Dragoon, the best you're going to do consistently is Infinity Almirage Pass. With Dragoon, you could at least get 2 negates fairly easily. The deck definitely, I won't say that it needs Dragoon, because it doesn't need Dragoon. You can make a deck without it, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't play Dragoon. Dragoon just makes the deck so much better, and there's honestly no reason to cut it unless Anaconda or Dragoon or something in this package gets banned in the future. Next, I have 3 Cyber Emergencies. This is probably the best spell card in the deck, because you just get to search any Cyber Dragon monster that you want to. It makes the deck a lot more consistent. It helps you with combos, like if you have this in core, you could just combo into a Dragoon and Infinity, or do whatever you want. So it's just really good for that. Next, Cyber Repair Plant. This is another really good search card. This helps you with Galaxy Soldier plays. That's mainly what you're going to search with it. Also Jizukiru. And keep in mind that it does have a recycle effect that doesn't really come up too often. But if you're in a grind game and you haven't used Repair Plant yet, it could be a good option to recycle back a core or something. And next I have Cyber Rev System. This is a spell card that's mainly used as an extender or recovery plays. It could help you play through Disruption. Like if you get Nibiru'd, you could still OTK fairly easily, especially if you have this. And just keep in mind, this is really weird that it can special summon from the hand, and it also protects the Cyber Dragon from being destroyed by card effects. Next I have Triple Machine Duplication. This is a really great card in the deck. If this resolves, you're pretty much guaranteed to win. It's that good. Because you just summon out a baby Cyber Dragon, use this card, and then you get 2 more Cyber Dragons. It's also really good if your opponent has Ash Blossom. You normal summon a core, they ash the core, and then you use this, and then they surrender. Yup. So that's really all I have to say about that. Next, I just have Overload Fusion. This is mainly for Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon. Only playing it at 1 because it's searchable with, well, not technically searchable, but practically searchable with a Predaplant Verte Anaconda. So this gives us just a really easy way to OTK. Next I have 3 copies of Dark Ruler No More. Now this one, I like having this in the main deck. It's a little bit weird. It might be a little bit weird to see it in the main deck, but I think it's just really good just to have something to out a really problematic board. And so game 1, if your opponent just has a board that you can't deal with, it's always better to have an option to go into instead of just having to surrender. And I did actually really like having this in the main deck, so I think I'm going to keep it in. Next, there's 3 Cosmic Cyclones. By the way, I forgot to mention this, but if you have Forbidden Droplet, consider playing that over Dark Ruler No More. But anyways, 3 Cosmic Cyclones. This is just for main deck back row removal, since it's something that this deck can struggle with sometimes. Now, I felt that a few times Twin Twisters could have been better, so I might consider going to that. The reason why I didn't really play Twin Twisters was because 1, of course, it doesn't banish, and also I wanted to keep my discard in case I needed it for Dragoon, so that way I could use my hand more, but I might consider going into Twin Twisters again. And next, for some trap cards, 3 Infinite Impermanence. Now this just got reprinted in the structure deck, so that's really good. I think it's still about $10, or at least close to that amount, maybe like somewhere between 5 to 10. So I would pick up these as soon as possible, since they're only going to go up from now. I don't see it getting another reprint soon. Also, don't forget about the column part when you set it. There's a lot of people who still forget about that, and it's funny when someone just plays a spell card in an imperm column. Anyways, last trap card, Cybernetic Overflow. This is the cyber trap card of the deck. It's mainly for going first place. It's also pretty good in the grind game. Like, I went up against Eldritch, and we were kind of grinding at one point, and I was able to just dominate his field with Cybernetic Overflow. Yeah, that's it for the main deck. 40 cards. I don't think it's necessary to bring it up higher with the Dragoon bricks. I just liked having the extra consistency, and also since I don't have Pot of Prosperity, which is a really good card that you should put in if you can afford it. Since I don't have that card, I don't have Pot of Prosperity. Yup, Prosperity. So since I don't have Pot of Prosperity, I just decided to go with a shorter deck. I'm not sure if I would increase the number though if I did have access to Pot of Prosperity. Anyways, for the extra deck, starting with Xyz Monsters, I have 2 Cyber Dragon Nova. This one revives a monster from the graveyard, and it's used to go into infinity. Also, this is good if your opponent just removes it somehow. It's because if it's sent to the graveyard by an opponent's card effect, you can special summon a fusion monster, a machine fusion, from your extra deck. So that's really good if you want to go into like a Makaba or a Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon or some other choice that you might have in the extra deck. Next, I have 2 Infinities because it's a negate. It's really good for board breaking. It's really good for setting up going first plays. Now I'm going to go into the Link monsters, Almirage. Note that I'm not playing Pleiades or any other rank 5 like that because I just don't feel it's necessary. They never really came up. But now I'll talk about Almirage because he is great. He is mandatory. Yes, he sends core from the field to the graveyard by linking it off. That gives you access to your Galaxy Soldier and Hertz plays that goes into Infinity plus Dragoon. So yeah, this could also give your cards protection from card effects. Could also give your cards protection from being destroyed by card effects, so keep that in mind just in case the situation would come up. But now, I have Relinquished Anima. This one is really good just to have an option to go into if you need it to board break. People can play around it, and the good players would always keep it in mind. It's still a really great way to punish your opponent for playing poorly and turn something into your favor that shouldn't have happened. And since we have the room, it's just a good option to have because there's not much else that I would put in to be better than this. Which is also why Pot of Prosperity is pretty good. Anyways, I have Link Spider. I might cut this since it's not really that apparent. It's mainly for Nibiru. If you were to be Nibiru, you can link off the token. And then if you had a Nova on the board while you were Nibiru, you could special summon a monster with the Nova. And then link these two into an Anaconda, and then just go into a Dragoon, Chimeritic Rampage Dragon, whatever card is best for the situation. Anyways, Seeger. This is the Cyber Dragon Link monster. Yup. This boosts your card's attack. This is mainly to combo with Chimeritic Rampage Dragon for big damage. If you also need to, you could just go into only this, and it could be just a 4,200 beat stick. That could be awkward for your opponent to get over and helps you get over stuff. And then the next Link 2 monster is Predaplant Vertic Anaconda. I know it's expensive, I'm pretty sure it got a reprint though in the Eldorado. Anaconda, it just takes two monsters, any two monsters, as long as they're effect monsters, and then you could use it and you could go to a Chimeritic Rampage Dragon for an OTK or a Dragoon for negate, or if the situation is better. So this is just a really great card to have in this deck. Next, I'm just going to get this out of the way since we already know it's here. Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, you know, I already talked about it pretty much, but it's just really great. It could be used for OTKs, it could be used for going first plays, and I would still play this over Phoenix Enforcer for reasons that I won't get into now. If you want me to explain that, I think I'll just make a whole video talking about a Dragoon versus Phoenix Enforcer. Pretty much, Dragoon is a more powerful card on its own. The Phoenix Enforcer has the better fusion card and better materials to use for its fusion summon. I think Dragoon is still better in this deck, especially when you want to have like a really powerful going first option. The next, I have Chimeritic Rampage Dragon. This is our main OTK monster that we use. It's also level 5, so we can make Nova into Infinity with it. And you could also send Hertz and Core to the graveyard with it at the same time, so that way you can recover your Core back. Just in case you don't OTK, you have follow-up plays. Next, I have two Chimeritic Mega Fleet Dragon. You'd only need one, really. I just put in two because I didn't have too much more to put in here. I liked having the second one in there, so that way I didn't have to be careful with how I used my first one. And it's pretty good, it's just not as apparent since we're in Master Rule 5, of course. So I'll probably find a better card to put in replace of this, though, in the future. Alright, next, the other Chimeritic card. That's Chimeritic Fortress Dragon. This is to contact fuse with machine monsters. So you could use it for Makaba, for Zeus, for your Kaiju, or other machine monsters. You're using it to out certain things. It doesn't come up too much, but it's just a good thing to have in the extra deck, especially since you want to play the Kaiju. Then I have Invoked Mechaba. This is one where you don't really need it. I mainly had it in just in case a Nova would be sent to the graveyard. I could summon this if I wanted a negate. Maybe I'd prefer to just have a second Rampage Dragon even though I don't have another Overload Fusion. But there's just a lot of free space in this extra deck, so just feel free to do other stuff that you want with it if you don't want to play this exact one. Anyways, I'm going to show my side deck now. I have 3 Nibiru. This is pretty good, you know, for a lot of decks that summon a lot of times. I might change it, I'm not entirely sure if I would change it or not. Right, next I have Drolan Lockbird. This is a really good one, I would probably keep this in. Or get it if you don't have it. You know, locks your opponent out of searching cards if they searched a card. So it's just really good for that. Good against Drytron, good against Flundereeze. Yeah, they have a new name now, like, it was like Floundereeze. I forgot what it was called. Floundereeze. Like, something weird like that. Anyways, enough about their name. Ghost Spell. I might take this out. It was, you know, it's good theoretically, but I just felt like I didn't really need it, and that there was some other thing that I might have wanted to put instead. And yeah, maybe if you're scared of Sword Soul, you could put in Token Collector. That's it for the hand traps of the side deck. I'm only playing one spell, and that's Harpy's Feather Duster, and that's mainly because I already have the Cosmic Cyclones in the main deck. And Harpy's Feather Duster, you know, it's just a Raigeki for spell and trap cards, so it's really good there. Next, I have 3 summon limits. Now this is really good. I got inspiration with this from Hakuna Maideta. You don't necessarily need it in the side deck if you don't want to. In fact, for a while, I actually believed that you didn't need anything like this. But I just feel that it's a lot better to have this in because you can side this in, intentionally go first. It also plays with your opponent's head. So your opponent's going to think something like, oh, Cyber Dragons are going second deck, I don't have to worry about going second, so I'll just side in for going first still. But then you'd side to go first, and then you use this card, and then they won't have an out to it. Especially since Cyber Dragons, or at least this variant, isn't a back row deck. Now, because it's not a back row deck, people will side out, or not even side in, the back row removal cards. So you'll just use this and they won't have a way to out it. This was really good in my final round. The only thing that's bad about this for going first is if you're going up against a back row deck, because a lot of times I do like to go first against back row decks, but this just unfortunately isn't that good for them. And sometimes, in fact, they're playing it themselves because it doesn't affect them. So anyways, I have another card for going first, and that's Imperial Order. You might think that it's really bad against us. It's bad to use since we rely on spell cards a lot. But if you go first and you could establish a board and use this on top of your board, first of all, your opponent's deck most likely is going to rely a lot on spell cards also. And they'll just not be able to break your board, and you'll be able to use your established board. And this was also something that I got from Hakuna Maideta. I'm not entirely sure if I would keep it in. I think for now at least I will, because I didn't really draw much, especially since it's at 1. So I just need a little bit more testing with it. Next, for the final trap card, I just have 1 red reboot because, you know, it's good against trap decks. You know, that it's, yeah, they use a trap card and you say no, and then you OTK them. So it's fun to use against, you know, set 5 pass. So yeah, that's it for the deck. So I will say this again. I will soon have Power Bond OTK heavy in one of these builds, probably in about a week. So yeah, so we're really close to 400 subscribers. I think we're at like 396. And there's still a really large majority of people who watch my channel and don't subscribe. So if just 4 of you watching right now who are not subscribed, we can get to 400 subscribers, and that's great. And this is just, and that would just be really great. So yeah, you know, do the basic things like subscribe, notifications, comment, Discord server. Thank you for watching this. I don't know why I did that. Have a good day. Goodbye.